Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, changemakers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, y'all? Happy day. I am Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration.
Hey, I almost said happy Tuesday, but then I realized that it may likely not be Tuesday by the time our listeners get to this. It may be a Tuesday, in which case...
Forever Tuesday.
There you have it. Mm-hmm.
Tuesday is my new favorite day of the week because we get to spend so much time together.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not making me pick up anything heavy.
That's true.
Nothing Bulgarian.
Don't make me change my mind, though. Go make you pick up that bowl of oranges and hip thrust it.
My lucky oranges for those of you who listened to last week.
Oh, yeah. We got to put them in a pillowcase and
no, Emily.
Go cause some trouble.
No orange trauma involved here. Okay, so obviously we had so much to talk about coming into today, and I'd like to give a big shout out to my AI bot bestie, who
shout out ChatGPT. Is it ChatGPT?
Yes, ChatGPT. This bot does not have a cool name. Like some of them have names.
Can you give it one? Can you give it one?
Name it like a person name, but this one doesn't. This one's more of like a superhero because it's like my mega bot that I've been grooming. It has everything in it about me and my business, you and your business, everything about the conscious collaboration.
I think we got to give her a name.
Well, and so I haven't published it because I'm still making it. I've just been using it in test mode, but we can name it. It's hard to name something so giant at this point. She's more of like a mythical creature, like the Chupacabra.
Maybe that's her name.
Choopy.
Choopy.
Anyway, so we were chatting with Choopy about today's episode and what could give everyone the best benefit, and leading up to that, just what's going on in our own personal lives. And
this is our pilot, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but this is our pilot experience of using Choopy, the chat bot.
It is.
To help us with a topic.
I do want to divulge that our editors use their own chat bot to help us with the descriptions. So that's taken a huge mental load and time suck away from a lot of what we do. But, it's still us talking in the messages. It's still us on Facebook. It's still us on Instagram, all that. Anyway. So this is the first time that Emily and I are like, let's use our AI bot as a contributor, as a guest. So we have been talking in the background with the AI bot. And there's one thing that Emily and I found in our conversation that contributes to a day being very successful and clear, or one that feels stagnant or stuck and we just don't know where to go. And that's being able to get into a business state of mind called a flow state. So, and I guess maybe it could be coined somewhere. I don't know. I haven't read any books on flow state. But I liked it because the idea was more of like creating that flow state formula for yourself and finding that state where you are truly aligned. We talk about that all the time, making sure that your mindset and your body, your physical body, and your business or whatever it is your desired goal is, that those elements are all aligned. And
with your environment too.
That just doesn't fit into the motto very well. But yes, environment's a big piece of that because it has that feedback loop to our inner selves, what we see around us. So I don't know. I like the topic, and I think we both have plenty to talk about in terms of ways that we can help suggest, based on our own experiences, how it might be good for us too, just to reconnect with how do we return to our flow state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think it's beneficial to all of us, whether we own a business or not, because I think this just, contributes to productivity and altogether, peace of mind kind of thing. But I think we could all benefit from just learning ways to more easily and almost pretty much at will to access a flow state.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that you're saying that, what is it called? I'm terrible at recall now that I'm in perimenopause, but I took a course on it. What is it? It's like a hypnosis that's used in selling. It's NAP or something. Oh my gosh.
Neurolinguistic, NLP?
NL,
Yeah, I don't really know anything about it. I've just, yeah.
NLP. Thank you. So yeah, that makes me think of a way that, similar to anything that we've learned in that. I've taken different courses and in that area, along with Steve and the Feng Shui Guild, we see a lot of correlation in those practices as well, with meditation, setting intention. But when you're working with NLP and those concepts, there's got to be a way that you can almost like imprint or trigger set yourself to snap back into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, creating neural pathways, and there's many pathways or approaches to that. And I think kind of having as many tools in your toolbox as possible is a good thing. Experimenting with what tools resonate for you the most and work for you the most. And then also, just addressing it from the different sort of angles, which we're going to get into more. Certainly the environmental angle, and then from a more mind body standpoint as well. So I think as many of those tools as you can kind of have in your toolbox, the better.
Yeah, I think that's really very cool. So I just went back in and asked. Now her name's going to be Chupa, isn't it?
Chupi.
So
Chupi the chatbot.
Had a lot to say about that, and I like it. So I'm going to share a little bit about it. So yes, neuro-linguistic programming and related tools are really effective for helping us to enter and sustain this flow state, which is our goal that we're talking about. And it's really where we're trying to align our subconscious with our superconscious goals, enhancing our focus and reprogramming our minds, essentially. Like, isn't that what we should really be learning in school? I think.
I mean, I think it's a big part of it, and this, gets into placebo, nocebo effect, and I think it's really all just a fancy way of saying that, our beliefs and our language, which thought is language, right? Like the things that we say to ourselves in our head is also language, matter in terms of how our body responds. And, if you're prompting by various actions and language and environmental factors, if you're prompting more of a sympathetic nervous system state, that fight or flight response that we're kind of chronically in as a culture these days, you're really preventing yourself from accessing that flow state effectively, because you're sort of, it definitely requires, I would say, full presence in the moment, like 100% presence in the moment. So if the monkey mind is going, you gotta use whatever manner you can to get around the monkey mind.
Yeah.
You can't be in a flow state if your mind is thinking about these other things. So, I think NLP could be one way to go about that. But, you also look at just all the things that we do and talk about on a day-to-day basis, certainly with the feng shui and the environmental factors of it. And then, using yoga, weightlifting, meditation to tap into your nervous system in that way, and kind of bring all of those things together in alignment to encourage a flow state.
Yeah, I think those are all really good tools. So I like this. So it's kind of like finding a way to self-hypnotize yourself and use these tools, whether it's breathwork, yoga, feng shui, an integration to help you to get into this state of flow. And I like, we got really jazzed over this. I like this concept. It says, and this is from, again, the AI bot that I created. It says, flow isn't something we chase, it's something we allow. By aligning your energy, your purpose, and your environment, you open the door to effortless creativity and meaningful impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key. Like you can't force flow. Force is anti-flow. To me, flow, we even use this word flow in my brand, in my yoga studio. The studio, all of our classes, and of course we spell it the Louisiana way with the EAUX, but nonetheless, this idea, we call all of our classes flow classes. And it's this idea of sort of seamlessly flowing, seamlessly, organically moving from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, almost without thinking about it, almost automatically. Obviously in a class setting, you'll be receiving some instruction. But it's really to where you can just be so fully in the moment, where it's like that feeling of losing track of time. Because you're so in the flow, in the moment. And I think that there's certain activities that will be way more prone to being able to access that flow state, like the ones that we actually like doing, right? Like it's maybe harder for a person who doesn't enjoy the hardcore sticky admin parts of running a business to get into a flow state on, like, I don't know, creating a spreadsheet or whatever. Versus, and some people love that, to be fair. And so I found myself in a flow state the other day. I had a number of graphics to create in a short period of time, and once I kind of got into it, I was like, oh gosh, initially I was kind of like, oh, this is going to take me a long time, and it took me a little bit of time, but then I found myself losing time, and sort of forgetting that it was probably time for me to eat and all that kind of thing, because I really just got into that flow state, because I do enjoy the creative projects. So I think, in some things it's going to be easier than others to achieve this. But I think if externally, just as a day-to-day practice, if you're working on your ability to better manage your own nervous system, for example, I think over time, as you get better at those things in general, then it becomes easier and easier to access a flow state, even in the case where you are not in a pleasant environment, or you do not like the task that you need to do. And I think that's where it becomes like the cheat code. Obviously yoga is cornerstone of my business, and a lot of times you kind of lump meditation in with that. However, I have really come to acknowledge that the meditation piece of things is not my strong suit whatsoever, particularly when it requires stillness. I tend to be able to access that meditative state more so only if I have a challenge in addition to it.
Yeah.
Like an infrared sauna or a cold plunge or even a deadlift. I've said over and over again, I can really find kind of this meditative state in that. So I actually have taken on the project of learning to meditate. I started this morning. I'm doing a 10-day beginner's course that my colleague Brian is beta testing right now. So I'm grateful to be a pilot on that, and so far so good. But yeah, it's funny that we kind of came up with this topic because that's a personal project that started for me just today.
Yeah, it's not funny.
Learning
it's
to meditate. Yeah. Well, I was privy to we had the St. Pete Yoga Fest that just happened this past Sunday.
Yeah.
And so and my colleague who created this beginner's meditation program was there representing the studio with me. And so we got to have lots of fun conversations with different people together. And we were speaking with another woman who was not a yoga instructor, but a meditation expert and leader. And that is, something Brian is highly inclined towards as well. And I was listening to their conversation and going, wow, I really like it. They were talking about being able to just sort of drop in to this state at will, basically, and still be very present in what's going on, but just access very easily this third eye mediated meditative state. And I think that goes right into what we're talking about right now. I think if you're able to figure out how that clicks, then that could really assist you in dropping into this flow state as well. I think they're very overlapping, if not kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I feel like when I was growing up and younger, it was easier. I just think children naturally meditate, and we didn't have a lot of distractions growing up. We didn't have a lot of electronics. So like if that meant staring at the floor until you found a pattern, that.
Read the shampoo bottle, whatever. Yeah. How many universes can you create with a cardboard box?
Right.
Especially if it's a big one that like a big appliance came in or something.
Yeah. Well, we have so many distractions right now, and just lifestyle distractions. And on top of that, if we didn't have the children, if we didn't have the businesses, if we didn't have that, there's so many other. I mean, there's what did I tell you? There's drones that they're finding now in New Jersey and North Carolina, like those kind of distractions. Can you imagine like stargazing and then seeing the sun?
I still want to see a cell phone video. I'm not convinced until I see I'll send it to if they say something's going on and all these people are seeing it, but people aren't taking videos of it, then I'm like, okay.
It's out there, Emily. I'm going to send it to you. But I mean, just, and the hurricanes were distracting and so on and so forth. But, being able to, like you said, drop in, or as we were talking about, finding these tools to help us clear all the clutter so we can find that flow state for us. Like my flow state's different from yours, different from anybody else's. Like what's your 100% best state to be your most productive self? It's going to look very different for everybody else. But I think the thing that connects it all is really linked more towards, I would say, like subconscious or creativity, or being able to like, and you mentioned too, when you were creating your graphics for hours and hours and forgot to eat, and it was like a chore that it felt like a chore initially. And then once it started going and you got the momentum behind it, it was probably challenging for you to stop.
I was ready to eat. My I can eat in a flow state too. I definitely get into a flow state eating a good meal.
Yeah. So I mean, what are the things that we can do to break the patterns that interrupt us, where we can, like our AI friend is saying, if you feel stuck or distracted, you can use deliberate action, like standing up and clapping, one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one. That'll break up energy. Breathing, literally, intentional breath. Like literally, sometimes we just need to oxygenate our brain cells.
That's exactly what the second bullet point was.
Or hydrate as well. You could, you can get into such a flow state that you can dehydrate yourself, and especially if the flow state is technology driven, like sitting at a computer and doing Canva for 3 hours, like you can start to create some less ideal consequences from that as well. So, and I think. Like it's been a while since I've utilized this, but the Pomodoro method has quantified a lot of that and gives you actual time frames in which to intentionally interrupt. And I can't articulate, but I'm pretty sure there was research done behind this method and its ability to kind of help you achieve that flow state. I believe is the objective behind the Pomodoro method, if I'm not mistaken.
How do you spell that?
Pomodoro, Pomodoro.
Okay.
Pomodoro.
All right, let's see. I'm just consulting Chupacabra. First name Chupa, last name Cabra. AI assistant. She might not like being called this. So the Pomodoro method is a time management technique that can help you enter and sustain a flow state. And here's why. So that means you're setting a timer. It could be 25 minutes and then a 5-minute break. And we use this. I don't know if you were there when we were shooting our videos for the launch of our podcast. When I was in that production group, we use this method to write our scripts before we knew.
And like when the timer goes off, you can keep going, or you intentionally interrupt it for a few minutes, take a break, walk around, breathe, do something else.
Yeah.
But for the 25-minute periods, you are completely like your phone is away. You are completely focused. So and I had a productivity planner that was structured that way.
Cool.
That I was using for a time, and I found it to be really effective.
So I didn't use this in the technique when we were writing our scripts because we used it the way that you described it. We would write for 25 minutes and then we would chat with each other, walk around, get coffee or whatever, and then go back to our scripts. So there was no continued writing. We forcibly got up. But this is suggesting that you can use a distraction journal. So if you have unrelated thoughts come up while you're maybe in the side margin of your notebook or something, write that down so you can keep your focus intact on what you're supposed to be doing for those 25 minutes. And you can come back to those other ideas later. Yeah, I do like that method too. And I did meet a girl before I knew about this method in script writing. When I was let go from or severance out of my corporate job, I met a girl in networking. She was like, do you just get up every day at 8:00 or 7:00 like you're going to work? And I was like, yeah, I do the same routines or whatever. And she said she did too. But one thing that she did differently because she was working at home was she put the timer on her oven or microwave so that it required her to get up every now and then. And I was like, ooh, that's such a good idea. Just to I think that was like a watered down version of this Pomodoro method. So yeah, like you said, getting up and to stretch and hydrate is super important. It's good to use that if you're writing scripts or proposals or contracts, because I think when you get up and walk around and you look at it with fresh eyes again, you're like, oh gosh, I totally missed a section or butchered that. I need to redo it. But it does mention your environment as well too. So making sure that you have a very positive environment to do this work in, that you're not on a cluttered desk, or at least you have a good percentage of your workspace clear, that you're looking at something pleasant. Maybe you have music playing or something, to help that, or light, your incense or a candle, something with the environment to help you to reflect. So
I like to put on sometimes, I'll find on Spotify some binaural beats for focus.
yeah,
I think those are the alpha brainwaves, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken, that are good for focus.
I used those in the corporate environment back when I had earbuds, and I did not have one of my earbuds in because I thought it was just playing out one earbud. And it was like the other earbud was like saying mantras or affirmations or something. And that's what everybody in the cubicle area was hearing like for hours. And no one told me. I was like, oh, you weren't hearing the music. They were like, no, we just heard all these affirmations. But they liked
The
it.
affirmations probably would have been distracting. Yeah.
They didn't speak up though. They just put up with me, or maybe they liked it.
Yeah. I mean, if you had them in your ear. So, okay, so that's good. So kind of low hanging fruit there. Don't work from a cluttered desk. Have something pleasant that you can see. Is there any guidance on like placement of the desk or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always suggest the feng shui principles of placing a desk or workspace, but such a small percentage of people actually work from desks anymore that I kind of think that information's outdated because so many people go to coffee shops or kava bars or whatever to do their work during the day. So I am kind of more on team, let's update those environment rules for workspaces because our workspaces are changing. I don't work in the same location all day. But what's really important, I think, is no matter where you are, making sure that you have visibility of the entryways. So, like if you're in a Zoom call, it's helpful because you can see a mirror reflected of what's behind you. So you can see if someone's coming behind you. That will help you be more productive. But being able to see the entrances to and from, it's just subconsciously it makes you feel safer because you know you're not under any threat. Like your desk is positioned properly because you can see who's coming from either side and who's approaching from the street. If you didn't, there would always be a piece of you disengaged trying to protect yourself.
Yeah, ain't nobody sneaking up on me.
No, that's ideally you want to position yourself in the coffee shop, kava bar, wherever you are so that you have that visibility and you're not being stalked, someone's not looking over your shoulder. I
think that's kind of just generally good life advice too, right? To just be in a position where you're generally aware of your surroundings, right?
Yeah. So that's called the power position. Police use it when they're entering a building to make sure, their backs are covered against a wall or a partner and being able to assess the situation. It's just how we choose where we sit in restaurants, dining rooms, whatever. So use that when you're choosing your environment, but keep the other things intact. Like make sure that it's a pleasant surrounding, it smells good, that you have access to hydration, these things that we're talking about, and that it's something that you're not like staring out the window at like a trash can or something, like an accident. I don't know, but like you don't want to be looking at something that's going to be a big downer because this whole conversation is it requires you to be able to access all the positive triggers in your brain. You don't want to be triggered by all the negative things. So you can have a floral arrangement in front of you, bonus points, or just a beautiful downtown view. If you can see that, that'd be great. It'd be great if you didn't plant yourself next to someone who's chain smoking and crying, for example. So don't do that.
Right.
Does that help you?
Yeah, don't do that. I think that's solid advice. That control the controllables in a mobile environment type of level. And then I think even next level, flow state access is again that it's really a life practice of working on tapping into that mind-body connection and being able to access management over your own nervous system, which is not something that happens overnight by any means. I'm still, I think that can be kind of leveled up over life. But I think that the better you get at that, the easier. I think it would definitely correlate with just being easier to drop in. Drop in was the terminology they kept using, and I like that.
Yeah,
just drop into that flow state, and then you could utilize it too, even outside of the context of like working and productivity. But just in coping with life. And I was talking a little bit today too, or sort of contemplating for the first time the difference between like disassociation, which is something that you and I are both historically pretty good at, but maybe that's a less a more dysfunctional way of of coping with things, versus that dropping into that flow state or that meditative state where it achieves the same sort of calming effect, but not because you're completely disconnecting from the world, but rather becoming more present in the moment, but instantaneously also completely calming your nervous system, but while allowing for alertness in at the same time.
I think the way that people like you and me who tend to revert to silliness or diverting ourselves in that way, and I don't think we hang out too far there, but we don't want to fall into like a big puddle of delusion either. But it's really intentional.
Sometimes I do.
Well, that's fine. And I think, maybe that's not fine for everyone, but it works for us. Our flow states are different.
Not really good. Yeah.
It's different. Not better or worse. But
I think there's a difference, right? Between completely disconnecting.
Intentional visualization is the other end of that, where, if you we've talked about this, and so, like, I think what we're talking about today is a combination of a lot of different topics. And I think one that ties it together is, being able to see yourself doing things successfully. We've done things successfully. We've got to do this task. So it's more like visualization, intentional visualization, that you want to do this task, you're going to do it the best. And not like tricking your brain, but like a little bit tricking your brain, like, relax. This is something you do very well. It's going to be easy, or it's going to be fun to work through, or whatever that may be. So I don't know. I think imagination is a valuable asset.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you don't want to go off the rails, and you don't want to be like grandiose or, dangerous. Like, I can fly, but
no, I think there's an element of present, like ultra presence, that is connected to a flow state, that is not necessarily there for like an escapist kind of vibe. Right. So, and I also wanted to connect it to because you're right, there's like several different conversations kind of happening at the same time here. But the masculine feminine interplay that we talk about a lot, I think goes really well with this topic too, especially when you look at it from the perspective of you can't chase the flow state, you have to receive it. And I think that's very much an interplay, because within a flow state, the idea is to be productive. So you're taking action within a flow state, right? But in order to get to that space where you can take seamless action that feels effortless, you actually have, so that's masculine energy, right? Forward movement, action, more linear. The being able to receive the flow state in the first place is the ultimate feminine energy, just,
Mm-hmm.
Ready to
It's
receive
almost like
this
you have to
action. I don't know.
not just receive. This is sounding very courtship wise, but not just receive the flow state, but attract it. It feels like it needs to be to be it, you have to, or to receive it, you have to be it or attract it to you.
Which I think has a lot to do with the language you use with yourself, whether it's out loud or in your mind, just your thoughts, maybe just subconscious thoughts.
So the NLP that I remember very little of it, I didn't really practice it other than take the workshops and read about it. But I thought that was such a great thing to learn when I was having issues presenting in front of big rooms of people. I would have like a basic anxiety attack, feared it for days, no matter how much I presented or redid the presentation. I just had this immense fear of public speaking. And like one way to drop in was to create like a symbol with your fingers or something. You'd have your fingers in your pocket, but if you touch your thumb and your forefinger together, that was like, and sometimes
it's a mudra. Yeah, that's
mudra.
yoga.
But that was something that
direction of energy.
Yeah, something that I would do, and sometimes to the point like my fingernail would go through my finger. But so it was a very aggressive mudra, but that would snap me out of it, or at least get me through to make it through the presentation. Which, to be honest, I just blacked out every time.
Yes.
But I mean, that's changed over time. I realize, now we talk in front of lots of groups of people, not just through the podcast, but summits and workshops. And so, public and in-person people. And it's changed. But it very much feels like a flow state now, like less force. And I think the difference is intention and ownership of the activity. I think the thing that at that time made me feel like I hated it so much as someone voluntold me to do it. Like, Lisa, you're the one that's going to do this presentation. I'm like, hated that. But in this space, as my own boss and a business leader, a creator of my brands, I choose to speak. So I'm like owning it. So I think that's very, I don't know, I think that's masculine in itself.
And I think just the topic makes a difference too. If you're, that goes back to our idiot genius episode. If you're speaking about your genius, so to speak, I think it's way easier to
Feng Shui versus EBITDA. That's just,
I think it's way easier to access that when you're talking about things that you love. I think it's a little bit easier for me to access it too. Just when there's a conversational element to it,
Yeah.
I definitely find myself even still a lot more in the flow in this format where there's an exchange than like I'm talking at somebody, or maybe it's just the prompts, because I've done some like live trainings and stuff on Zoom where I really am involved with the subject matter. I feel passionately about it, and then as long as I have just kind of a very flexible sort of bulleted slideshow or whatever to keep me just vaguely on track, then I can access a flow state in that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big piece of it. Is just like, you mentioned flexible structure. And we've talked about that in different episodes, like way back. That works for many people to have that, like some sort of like guided, and you were talking about blueprints, to be able to see where you are on path. So it's not the never ending story of projects.
Right. But a flexible one, not one wherein like it is rigid. We have no room to be creative, no room to be, to kind of shake things up as it suits our individual
but that's, I think, really important.
needs.
that seems to be the way that people are choosing to receive and give information. And in Feng Shui, we talk about energy prefers winding paths. If you think about it, it doesn't like to make a hard left or right. Air doesn't like it. Water doesn't like it. Energy.
And it likes to be guided through a path to some degree rather than just in a big open room where it's like ping, 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 all over the place.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my brain goes. There might be a lot of good information in there, but if it doesn't have just, a guideline, not a force, but a guideline as to, hey, like this is the natural order of operations here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I would say if we're reflecting back on creating a flow formula for success, whereas everybody's formula is going to look a little bit different depending on your energy type and I think even masculine or feminine tendencies. I think the ingredients, and you can fill it in too, but like is being able to create your drop in, commit with intention to where you're going and own it. You're not being voluntold to do what you're doing. And if you are, you should maybe reframe it so that you own it. Like you're charting it. Like this is what you want to do. A lot of that has to go with our conversation a couple episodes back about reframing the question, reframing it. So drop in, own it, reframe it if you need to, and create, I would say there's in the law of attraction talks about path of least resistance, but find your winding path. So if you use a Pomodoro method or use whatever timers or schedule 3 walks in your day or whatever that is to break it up so that you create more of a winding path.
Yeah, and I think my addition would be like the continual practices that basically lead to minding your nervous system. And there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons to build this skill. But I think and there's again any number of things that could be used, any number of modalities that could be used to kind of get this skill of management over your nervous system, but certainly meditation and yoga being, and you can throw in there journaling, even therapy, talk therapy, body work, that sort of thing. But any of and breath work, any of these continual practices that you can do to just be more in touch with your own nervous system management.
And I would say, along with the breath work, the visualization and how you feel is your environment. Like I kind of put all those together because it's a feedback loop. So if you're not feeling comfortable in your environment, then, you're not locked to your desk, move. I think the days of Feng Shui, I think I'm just going to get rid of my courses on Feng Shui your desk because it feels silly at this point. Just make sure you have sturdy, you feel comfortable, your blood is not being cut off in your legs, you've got a solid workstation. I will say that it's not preferable that you work on a glass desk or surface because it's said that, one, it's distracting because you can see what's below you all the time if you're looking down. And it is said that all of your ideas will fall through to the floor.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. So that means if you need to put a tablecloth or a play mat.
Donate your glass desk to a smash room.
Oh.
Is that a thing? Will they pay you? Will they pay you for smash items?
I don't know. I've not looked into this, but I can't see why not.
That might be a good little side hustle.
Yeah.
Donate your glass desk to a smash room.
That scares me because it's glass, but wear lots of protection when you go to smash.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Have you done a smash room?
No.
I mean, there's got to be glass in there, right?
Yes. Yes. Probably not large panels of glass, but I don't know.
And you wear like, I don't know. Yeah. I really want to go to one.
I think, and I plugged in a lot of what we were talking about. I love the smash room. I think that's a good way to like release energy. But whatever your formula is, make sure that you have your autonomy to make decisions for yourself and what it is in some way. If you've been told and you're in someone else's environment, you have to follow some sort of rules, but find a way to maintain autonomy.
Maybe you could take the bag of oranges to the glass desk.
Yeah.
I would still wear protective gear, but that'd be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, it would be.
Tune into last week's episode if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Everybody go back and listen to that.
Quite a side.
Oranges are your best friends for many reasons. You can eat them, you can throw them, you can you can smash glass with them in a pillowcase. Yes, disclaimer. Yeah.
Lots of vitamin C.
It's good for you to eat. Smells good.
Don't eat the ones that you smash the glass desk with, though.
I think the one thing I'm going to take away, besides that tip about oranges that we just talked about, is having a distraction journal, which actually I do have one now that I'm talking about it. I have a notebook that I always draw on when I'm in meetings. So look, the intention is to write notes, but it turns into like me drawing or writing down things that I want to look at later or something like that. But I think the distraction journal is a good one.
Yeah, I like that tip too, to help kind of clear the monkey mind, because otherwise, especially, if you're a cerebral person like we tend to be, then if you don't sort of put those thoughts on deck somewhere, then they're going to keep coming back. And what about this? What about this? What about this? Like, so just putting them there and being like, I am going to address you.
Do you want to know what that flow formula is according to Chupacabra, our AI?
What does Chupi say? What's Chupi talking about?
In parentheses, because this is a proper formula here. Clear goals plus immediate feedback plus balance of challenge and skill and parentheses times focus equals flow.
Is that something that it just came up with based on our conversation, or is that a formula that exists?
So I asked it, is there work that exists on flow state? And there is a framework by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi something. Looks like it's a Polish name. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Consonants there.
Lots of consonants that don't go together. So
yeah,
Google's your best friend on this. Is a psychologist who pioneered flow theory and has adapted it for various contexts, including personal growth, business, and leadership.
So that was his formula. We are not the next Einstein. That's what you're saying?
Well, it would be Chupi that's Einstein if that were the case.
No, Chupi got it from us.
I will ask. Chupi, did you get this from?
Chupi got it from us. Chupi's our. I mean, she's mining our data, right?
Yeah, it's coming from our conversation.
Mostly yours, a little bit of mine.
Yours is in here. I mean, I've been putting stuff.
I'm gonna make her a character, like a visual.
So it's a concept that was from a psychologist, and the research started in the 1970s. Because I asked, where did it come from? Yeah. So there's a legacy of work being done in this area. Interesting. I like this topic. I feel like I'm going to be a little bit more empowered to do the rest of the things I have to do today. I don't know. What about you? Anything you're going to walk away doing a little different?
Blow it out. I do like the idea of the distraction journal, or the distraction list. Yeah. And like I said, I just started this meditation course this morning. So I think I had kind of already locked in on this topic before we even knew.
Well, do you think that
so maybe Chupi can read minds as well?
Well, I did put in some of our conversation to help come up with a topic. So a little bit of mind reading, a little bit of it being fed what we were talking about. Yeah. But maybe when you're done your course, maybe Brian can come on and talk about. You know what I was thinking? There's a line I keep seeing in movies from the 60s and 70s where people drop acid and they always say, wait, drop in, tune out. Wait, something to that effect. But I wonder where that really came from. And is that
your tip as to how to get into a flow state? Just pop some LSD.
No.
That'll do the trick. Follow us for more health and wellness tips.
No, it was just something I've seen in movies before, right? Or it's like in the 60s hippie era. You're like,
drop in, dip out.
Let's see, where did that come from? Would you have been a hippie or would you have been like a Studio 54 person?
Well, didn't the hippies just largely turn into the Studio 54 people?
I don't know.
Jenny did. I'm looking at, literally, I went straight to Forrest Gump. And Jenny's evolution.
I think it was
because she was exactly that. She went
sorry guys,
hippie
I
to
misquoted that.
Yeah, I think it was just the next era.
I think in my mind of the movie I was thinking about was Forrest Gump, but the phrase is turn on, tune in, drop out, coined by Timothy Leary in the 1960s. Countercultural movement. Kind of think we're in a countercultural movement a little bit with this age of Aquarius kind of thing. All right. Feel like we covered the gamut of these concepts. Wasn't that fun? Did you enjoy interacting with Chupi?
I was in the flow, man.
Yeah. Just so you know, she finds that Timothy Leary relates to this conversation conceptually because both concepts value expanded consciousness and highlight the potential for individuals to transcend mundane habitual states. I like it. That being said,
transcend the mundane.
Transcend.
Fundane.
Fundane.
Turn mundane to fundane.
That's our formula. Well, you're welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Dropping bombs and LSD. Just kidding. Neither one of those things are true.
No, we've got too much to do, too little time. What is time? But we hope to see you inside of
an illusion.
It is the Conscious Collaboration Collective, illusion or no illusion. Come as you are.
Mundane or fundane.
Let us know how you identify, and we will accept
apples
you
or oranges.
And you can hit us up.
Can't tell when they're in a pillowcase.
No, shh. Oh, we don't want to start that kind of movement.
Siri just yelled at me for being loud. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, she said, "You're in danger." She said, "Watch out."
Am I in danger?
That's Siri.
I am the danger. Excuse me.
Siri,
I am the one who knocks, Siri.
Well, make sure to hit us up on Instagram if you have something to say about today's episode, if you desire to be a guest or you want to talk to one of our guests. And also, I am going to be working on emails for a very long time to get back into those because we have some guests coming.
Word.
Let
the guests flow in.
I apologize for my delinquency there, but everybody's seen and heard, and we will be in touch.
You're such a delinquent.
That's right.
That's why our chat bot is a mythical creature.
Yeah.
Of terror. I'm pretty sure it's a monster.
Yeah, she's I think a Chupacabra is like a Mexican vampire animal.
Yeah.
That like puts holes in sheep in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Well, Chupi is recovered.
She's a marketing maven, as a matter of fact. So, well, thanks for joining us, Chupi. And we hope to see you again soon.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk to you in 5.
Signing off at 3:33.
Ooh, lucky.
Bye, guys. Talk to you in 5.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.